That's what we like. Get us all going. So I am very excited this month. Very, very excited because we have a whole lot of really wonderful things that are going to be happening. They're happening right now, in fact. You'll find out in a minute why. So what is so special about this month and what is so exciting about this month? It's our theme. We have a great theme for the month and all that it means. And the theme for the whole month is 28 days of transformation.
Yay.
Yes. Yes, we're going to be doing some work, if you choose to. Not 28 days to transformation, right? Not 28 days and then you get somewhere. No, it's 28 days of. So we're going to be doing this work, if you choose, every day of the week. So that we can, if we really want to, really shift things in our life, we got to do some work. We have to take some action. You know, it's not just going to automatically shift for you. It takes a conscious decision, and it takes what I have in your bulletin for you to do every single day. So these are ways of living that move us out of the old patterns and habits and ways of thinking that we may have that can keep us stuck up until now. Up until now. But because there's always more of life to experience, and because life is forever calling us, we are ready. We are ready to transform those ways that we might have in place for a higher, better way of being in that flow of life. So to set the stage for the entire month, let me ask a few questions. As believers in the tenets and principles of science of mind, we know that we live in an infinitely abundant universe, a giving universe, a universe of flow and receptivity and creativity, a universe that is created by and from life itself, that infinite divine energy that creates out of itself. And that is what we believe, right? That's one of the tenets? Yes. As believers, and then in the tenets and principles of science of mind, we also know and believe that this good is always flowing, that this abundance, this life, is already ours. It's already within us. And the outer, there is no outer, but for us, because we think of these bodies as separate, but for all that is, it is forever giving, it is forever flowing, and it pours itself into our experiences. So that flow of infinite love, of infinite abundance, of infinite good is always flowing within us. We know that, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Good. We claim it, we live it. This is for us to live, too. And after being, I have another question, but after being yesterday with Barb Jabakowski and Carol Mayo and myself in Delaware, after being in the presence of the wonderful Martha Creek again, the clarity is just, it's just like a download. So any of you that have experienced Martha Creek and Byron Katie's The Work, which she's a master facilitator of, know what I'm talking about in this woman. She is amazing. So it's up to us. The flow of life is always there. It's up to us to get the clarity that we desire. No one else is going to do it for us, by the way. So one more. And we know that the level of acceptance in this good and our ability to receive it is determined by our belief or our faith in everything that I just said. Right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, God is good. You're made out of that. So I feel a little bit, if you know Thomas Troward, that's the way he puts things in order. So we activate and call forth God's good in our lives by the measure of truth that we live by, that we live in, that we embody, that we express, that that's the beauty of these spiritual teachings. They transcend all religions. They transcend all of that because they are forever expressing through us. It is such a beautiful, wonderful way of living life. It moves us out of just being victims to life into more of an active role of being a participant and co-creating our lives.
Yeah.
Yes, we recognize the importance of taking steps in our lives to align with this all good. So over the next 28 days, we're going to take steps in transformative activities and actions that anchor our faith and align us with the all good. Not just during Sundays here, but every day of the week. And you have a handout that's in your bulletin, and you have to look at it now. You can look at it when you get home, but make sure you take a bulletin because it has every day of the week and a practice that you can do. Some action, some activity, so that you can carry this whole transformational idea, this process, into your everyday life. And so today we begin our 28 days of transformation, and remembering it's not a journey to transformation, as in, I've said it before, as if nothing will happen until day 28. It's happening every day we practice. Every day that we make room for this good. And to make room, we're going to get into that, we got to let go. We got to drop some stuff. We got to make room for the good to flow. Because if it's blocked up, there is no room. So today's talk is entitled The Process of Transformation. And we're going to use the caterpillar. That would be the butterfly as one of our as a main example of transformation. We can learn a great deal about our journey through that process that the caterpillar makes into a butterfly transformation. So a single guy decided it would be more fun if he had a pet. So he went to a pet store and told the owner that he wanted to buy an unusual pet. And after some discussion, he finally brought a talking centipede, which came in a little white box, so he could take it home. That was the home for this little talking centipede. And he took that box home, the man, and he found a good spot for the box. And he decided he would start off by taking his brand new pet to church and teach him about God. So he asked the centipede in the box, remember it talks, "Would you like to go to church with me today? We'll have a really good time." But there was no answer from his pet. And this bothered him a bit. So he asked the pet again, "How about going to church with me?" Still, there was no answer from his friend. So he waited a few more minutes thinking about this situation, decided one more time he will invite his new pet. This time he put his face up against the box, that little white box that the centipede lived in. And he said, "Hey in there, would you like to go to church with me and learn about God?" And this time this little voice came out of the box. "I heard you the first time. I'm putting on my shoes." Now, that was really bad. It was bad. It's not a caterpillar, but it's like, long and squiggly with lots of little feet. So. And the whole point of just going into that, because it looks like a caterpillar. Doesn't it look like a caterpillar? I'll have to take all you science people, to me, they're a little squirmy. Anyway, this month, though, it's really important because this month we got some really special things planned for you. And the beauty and the mystery of transformation unfolds in the butterfly. It is so incredibly beautiful, the way a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly. And I think that most of you might have heard how that happens, the butterfly process, but we're going to do it again. We're going to talk about it just a little bit because it really is such a great example. A butterfly begins as an egg laid on a leaf, and this leaf is the perfect food for the next stage of the caterpillar's life. It's a little egg, it's on a leaf. Out of the egg comes this little wiggly, squirmy, furry, little thing with lots of legs, not a centipede, but a caterpillar who spends his days eating and growing and eating on that leaf that he was born on. And that's what he does. That's his only job. And then the caterpillar feels, and in a push, he knows when it's the right time. He will spin a cocoon or a chrysalis around himself. The word chrysalis comes actually from Greek meaning gold, so to know that. This is an amazing stage of the butterfly's life. From the outside, it looks as if the caterpillar is curled up inside, taking a nice siesta. But inside is where all the action is. There's a lot that's going on in there. Within that chrysalis, the caterpillar does not change into a butterfly. Rather, it is undergoing a metamorphosis. It doesn't go into the cocoon and spread little wings and little shorten its body and suck up all its little feet. No, inside the cocoon, the caterpillar is reduced to a puddle of goo. And this glob of DNA, out of that glob of DNA comes this, all of the formations of the organs of a caterpillar, they're all dissolving. They're dissolving and reforming, and finally, a puddle of goo, so amazing. Finally, when the caterpillar has done all of its dissolving and reforming inside, an adult butterfly emerges from this chrysalis. When the butterfly first emerges, the wings are stuck to its side because he had to transform in this small space. And after a brief rest, the chore of coming out of the chrysalis, the butterfly pumps blood into the wings in order to get them working and flapping, and then he gets to fly. All of this is just going on beautifully in this metamorphosis. The transformation of the butterfly have to do, you know, we can ask, what does that have to do with my life? It has everything to do with our lives, a lot to do with us. And there's a scripture in the 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17, and it reads, "Old things are passed away. Behold, all things become new." And that's perfect scripture for a butterfly. Although, of course, it was not written to describe the butterfly, it was written to describe a human being. Letting go so that we can make room to emerge into the new, the metamorphosis of our new self, if we choose to continue with the flow of life. Old things must pass away so that the new can emerge. The caterpillar must pass away so that the butterfly can emerge. And the butterfly's process also has a wonderful thing to say for us in our process of transformation. The old me must pass away so that the new me can emerge. You can't have the new me while we're still holding on to the old way of thinking and feeling and doing. So if we would like to transform, so I think why we're here, the whole thing with transformation, the whole thing with deepening into spiritual truths, is really about living a happy life. That's all any of us truly want. A happy life, a fulfilling life. That's all we want. So for many of us, in our human journey, we thought about ourselves as just, for a long time, for me it was like 40 years, just a human being having a human experience. And then one day, after a metamorphosis, maybe then we can see that, I'm a spiritual being having this human experience. And then maybe another day comes with another metamorphosis, and we can say, I'm not a human being having a spiritual experience. Rather, I am a spiritual being having a human experience, having a spiritual experience. So that's what we're doing here. We teach that we are spiritual beings, right? Because we're eternal, go on forever. We're part of the wholeness, the oneness of all that is, was, and ever shall be. But as humans now, because we're aware, we're awake, we're having a spiritual experience. So we're spiritual beings having a human experience, having a spiritual experience. And it feels a whole lot better than just being the human, having the human experience, and that's it. More choice. Do you see how there's more options? There's more choice for a better way of living, a better way of feeling, a better way of showing up in the world? Just as the destiny of the caterpillar is to become a butterfly, so is our destiny to realize who we are and whose we are. And then step forward into it and claim it and then live it. That's why the action part is so important. We can definitely look at our master teacher, Jesus, as a role model in this process. Jesus came to us to acknowledge, discover, and experience and be the fullness of who he was. And as we look at his life, we see that he was in the fullness of being a human being. He was having that human experience. And then there were times when he moved into the divine experience. And then he came to that place where he merged the two of them. He was aware that he was an expression of God, fully incorporating the human and the divine, merging it together. That's what a mystic truly is. And we discussed that in our foundations class, I think last week. That mystic is one who is just truly aligned with spiritual truth and knows the reality of life is that they truly are spiritual beings. And that after these human bodies are shed, if you will, much like the caterpillar, we will still emerge as these spiritual beings. Spiritual beings do not die. We're immortal. That's the great news of this teaching. It's one of the reasons I really love this and believe this. So our task, part of our process of transformation, is to dissolve that which stands in the way of our emerging into our divinity. And this process of transformation happens to us again and again and again. Have you noticed that? It doesn't just stop. Oh yeah, I just had a metamorphosis and I'm done. I'm done life. I'm good. No. Wham, you get another one. But when that thing happens, it's then you get to choose. Well, what am I going to take from this? What am I going to learn from this? What am I going to be from this? How does this help transform my life? When the caterpillar is in the chrysalis, there is a natural process of transformation that needs no assistance from anyone. It's incredible. It is a natural process for the dissolving of what needs to be dissolved so that the butterfly can emerge. That which would have stood in the way of that butterfly from emerging naturally dissolves. It dissolves into that puddle of goo. But unlike the butterfly, for whom this happens naturally, for us, it's like we have to set these conscious intentions of how we are going to let go of a thought, incorporate a new thought. It's pretty amazing what we do as humans with the thoughts and the thoughts and the thoughts, which trigger emotions, which, you know, goes on and on and on. And if we have a great pattern, we keep it. But if we want to transform an old way of being, we've got to let go of the old patterns, the old ways that this controls. The process, if anyone here lived in a logging community?
What? Not recently.
It's really cool because it goes with the talk so well. It's the process of cutting trees down and logging them. So the logs go, I don't know, I'm from cities. But anyway, I know that they go down water. So the logs go down, I'm just going to give this to you. The natural process of nature means they go down a river They're not carried off in a truck. And the mill is built. That's why the mills are built on the water, correct? The logs are floating. Let's just go with it. The logs are floating. It gives a great analogy. It goes with my talk. So the logs go floating down the river to the mill, but occasionally a log gets stuck, and it'll come to a stop. But the river is always flowing, so it's bringing down more logs, and they're jammed up, and pretty soon you have a log jam. Nothing, the water is pushing at it, but it really can't move because it's jammed. The force of the river, the force of the flow of the river is trying to move through this log jam. And there is only one way to, well, that I read, to unjam it is to use a stick of dynamite. Our lives could be just like that. We think, I'll let this one little thing go by. I'm not going to let it bother me. It's one little thing, it annoys us like crazy. We're just going to let it go. I'll just resent or hate or be frustrated with it, ignore it, not deal with it. But behind it comes another little thought, and another one, and another one. And then we get into this pattern of feeling stuck. See where I'm going with that? See, the logs go perfectly. Since something happens to us when enough of these thoughts and these resentments and all of this stuff that we do within ourselves, then we don't use a stick of dynamite. No, we manifest a problem. Usually a very huge problem. It's the only way it's going to blow up and transform. That's the beauty of it. So we blow it up to transform into something else that suits us. The flow of goodness can occur when we dissolve our problems, when we truly get them cleared away. That's why it's really good to deal with those small problems, or small things as they arise, situations in life. Otherwise, they just keep piling up within us. Theologian Matthew Fox wrote, "In order to pick up anything new, we must let go of what we are holding." So we must do, if we choose, the clearing, the letting go, so that will be our work this week. But like I say, if you choose to do it, you have the papers there, make sure you get one, and every day there's a process for you to follow. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. It's called conscious intention. And we are going to get a nudge to let go of something through this process, an old grievance possibly, some clarity, some way that we have been in relationship with family, oh that's a good one, of origin, or close friends, a nudge to let go of something through this process of doing this work every day, not just on Sundays, but every day, that we might want to let go of because we can get really comfortable in the discomfort, can't we? We get really comfortable in there because we don't like change. I'll speak for me. You know, change can be very challenging. Like, I like it this way, I don't want to change. And so, but I want this. See, I want this way of being in life. I want my life to look like this. But I'm not going to shift anything. I'm not changing anything. I just want this whole thing here. Well, it's not going to happen. Let go. Let go of the small things, the little things. You got to let the flow of life in if you really want that transformation. This is a week of focus releasing, focus clearing, dissolving, metamorphosis. Coming next week, you'll all be moving like butterflies. Muhammad Ali. As we prepare to decide what this clearing is, let God lead us. Let the divine energy lead us to this understanding, realizing that there may be resistance. You can feel it in your body. In Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes wrote, and this is on page 114 for those who like to look it up, "We do not change all of the patterns in a moment. Rather, it takes place little by little until gradually the old patterns become transformed into new ones by some inner alchemy of the mind, the operation of which we do not see, but the manifestation of which we experience. So let us begin our journey, our process of 28 days of transformation. And so I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And let us right now begin the process of clearing a space where there is a log jam. That's not a long meditation, so just flow with this one and us. Because we want to create a space for more of God's love, more of this divine goodness and peace and power and plenty to flow through us. So, we open our minds right now to be reminded of where is it within you? Can you clear physical clutter? And let us in our hearts commit to one aspect of the clutter in our lives. Because we want to experience and express more of this divinity. We are willing to release something that is physically cluttering our lives. And let us be open right now to have revealed to us at least one place where there is some emotional clutter. First, what emotional clutter is there within you? A feeling about yourself that does not serve you? A belief about the world that keeps you stuck and small? And so you want to be open to have that revealed, open to releasing it here and now. An emotional belief that's like those logs and just piles up and keeps you stuck. Next, in a relationship, past or present, even if someone has moved on to another dimension, remembering that this kind of transformative work has nothing to do with them and everything to do with our ability to be a clear channel through which the divine can flow through. We are open to have revealed to us what the relationship clearing is. And so we have begun. We have begun physical clearing, internal clearing, and relationship clearing of that logjam of the greatness that is within us, waiting to be recognized, waiting to be expressed. For this revelation, we give great and abiding thanks. And so it is.
So it is.
Woo.